You don't feel safe kind of like in areas like this.
We've seen a lot of coming out of academia recently.
It's definitely scary. I mean, especially seeing a lot of my peers post some truly vile content on social media and chant things that I think are just absolutely despicable.
There are protests right in front of Hunter that like reference Hitler.
And I never feel safe there or home in Germany because I can't show my identity who I am.
In the Holocaust, the Nazis, they don't really care if you're religious.
I have had moments where I've, been wearing a hat around, certainly, and maybe some of them were times that I consider a little bit more volatile.
Each person has a role to play in this war, and we all need to be actively doing something to help.
In Germany, we have like pro-Israel, some demonstration to show that we are there and we are not afraid.
It's very upsetting. And you chose your Judaism, like you leaned into it. What does that make you feel?
It's a test for the whole world, for the whole Jewish world.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Meaningful People podcast. A bit of a different episode this week. I went to Times Square and sat down like a crazy person with a sign that said, "How does it feel to be Jewish right now?" Obviously, we know what's going on in the world, the rise of antisemitism, post-October 7th, what happened in Israel, the rallies going on in all major cities around the world. So I felt, hey, listen, let's speak to the Jews in our major cities. Let's speak to the Jews of New York City. And I was so happy I did. I sat down with so many amazing people. And in this episode, it's basically bringing you into those conversations. I want to give a big thank you to a few people who made this possible. Richie Shonfeld and his family, Richie Taylor, who helped us out with security and making sure we were safe there. And everybody else, the big productions who was part of this. It was an amazing experience to see how, close knit the Jewish people really are right now. And hopefully it should remain like that forever and ever. Big thank you to our friends at Alpert and Associates for sponsoring this episode. Do you need life insurance? Do you need financial planning? You need to call Moshe Alpert today. You might have a lot of money sitting around and saying, hey, listen, that's just not collecting enough money that it should, and you want to invest it properly, you want to invest it in the right places, call Moshe Alpert. You might be looking at your bank account and thinking, we probably could be making smarter decisions when it comes to our finances, but I don't know where to start. You want to call Moshe Alpert. That's 718-644-1594, or email him today at alpertmoshe@gmail.com. And of course, a big thank you to our friends at Town Appliance. Ever since 1979, they have been the number one place to go for any appliances. Like I said last week, I needed something Erev Shabbos really quickly, and they get it done. They have 3 awesome locations, 5 towns, Lakewood and Baltimore. And what can I say? Ever since 1979, Town Appliance has been the number one place. That has never changed, and it never will. If you're thinking about opening up an appliance store, just maybe go apply to work at Town Appliance, because that's the only appliance store that we need. That is townappliance.com. You can message them very, very easily on WhatsApp, and they will get back to you with a sales rep and take care of you. They understand the needs of the Jewish community, and they will take care of you when you need it. So go ahead and reach out to Town Appliance. And I really hope you're able to gain from this episode. Flood the comments with how you're feeling to be Jewish right now. And if you're not Jewish watching this, be nice. Thank you so much, everybody. Enjoy this episode.
You are listening to the Meaningful People podcast.
The podcast featuring our nation's most impactful, influential,
and meaningful people.
We just got here, and our objective today is to speak to people from Israel, Jews, about what they feel like as being a Jew today. You mentioned to me that you're from Ashkelon?
Near Gaza, 7 kilometers from Gaza. I came here because it's very hard to be there, and my child living here, and I came here.
You came here recently, or you came here after October 7th, or you?
About 4 days, I came.
So you were in Ashkelon when the attacks happened on October 7th. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened for you?
Thousands of bombs and alarms, afraid. In a day, in a night, terrible.
So you came here to New York. The thing is, here in New York, it's not so friendly right now also to Jews and to Israelis, right? We saw on Saturday there was probably 50,000, 100,000 people protesting pro-Hamas, right? Pro-Palestinians, pro-terrorists. How does that make you feel?
I came in Long Island to my boy, to my son, and I stayed there. No, very much.
Let me ask you, after October 7th, right? These attacks happened and it was an attack on the Jewish people. Are you now scared? Are you scared to look like a Jew? Would you be scared to walk around with people knowing that you're Jewish?
No, I don't scare. I don't scare. Because I think that it's proud to be a Jewish, and I don't scare.
For the people who, let's say, are scared, they're scared. They take off their kippah. They don't wear their tzitzit. They want to make sure that nobody knows they're Jewish, and they come to work.
I don't accept this. I don't accept this. I think that it's so proud to be that I don't scare.
Wow. Well, thank you so much. What's your name?
Miriam.
Miriam from Ashkelon. Are you going to be going back to Ashkelon anytime soon?
About 2 weeks.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. Have a great day. Okay, Civia. We're sitting here in Times Square right now, just a couple of weeks removed from one of the worst attacks on Jews since the Holocaust. Here you are, dressed like a Jew, openly wearing a necklace that shows that you're a Jew. You're not scared. It doesn't look like you're worried. Can you tell me why?
I feel like in a way it's both mixed feelings. Like it is scary seeing what's going on in the colleges and like things like that. Just like the fear of like davening on the train, whether I could do that or not, or like different things like that. But at the same time, I feel like just seeing like, I don't know, it's kind of like a pride, like seeing the videos that's going on in Israel and like just the unity and the achdus of like all the different Jews like dancing together, kind of like, I don't know, it's like kind of makes you, it's inspiring, I guess. And like, just because this is going on doesn't mean I have to like be scared of who I am.
Right. No, that's beautiful. And there's a question like I always was thinking about these days when I see people. I think I know the answer when it comes to you, but since what happened in Israel, are you more likely to identify outwardly like a Jew, or are you less likely to?
I don't think I would go, I think I would be too nervous to go extra. Like, I don't know if I would necessarily feel comfortable wearing like a tzahal sweatshirt in public, but to dress like a regular Jew, how I dress every day, definitely like, I don't feel nervous to do that. Okay,
that's good. Do you have any like grandparents, great-grandparents, anyone that survived the Holocaust in your family?
No, my grandfather came over before.
Okay. Anybody you know, or?
Yeah, my friend's grandmother, yeah.
Okay. If you were to speak with them right now and talk to them, those people who went through that 1938 Germany, that feeling in Europe, what's something that you would ask them or want to speak to them about?
I think I would, I guess, ask them if it kind of felt like this, if it was the same or not. And like, I feel like it is, like a lot of things resemble it, but at the same time, here we are speaking out and like spreading awareness much more, versus then everyone was more quiet and like trying to hide it, I guess.
And for the Jew who is scared, who might come to Manhattan and take off their yarmulke and try to hide it, what would you say to them?
You're giving in to them. I don't know. Live your life, be who you are, and here I am. I go to school and there's nothing happening, and there's Touro, like it's obviously Jewish right here in Times Square. So, yeah, just continue being who you are.
That's awesome. If you were, let's say, talking to right now Israeli soldiers or people who are living in Israel, we just spoke to a woman here that lived in Ashkelon. What's one thing you would tell them to give them strength?
I guess just live and be strong. Be proud of who you are. I don't know. I guess.
That's good. That's good. Is there one person in your life that gives you the confidence to live the life that you're living as an openly from Jew, walking in Manhattan with confidence? Is there someone that you pay that over to?
I guess just my upbringing. Like, I don't know, the schools I go to, seminary, just it's who you are. You're not going to change it.
So the seminary is doing a good job, you're saying?
Yeah, I guess so.
You want to shout them out?
Mechon Raya, woohoo.
Okay, Mechon Raya, you have a good one over here. Walking through Times Square, looking like a Jew, Baruch Hashem. I got one more question for you. I'm sure you might have friends that are less affiliated. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. The assimilation rate nowadays is really, it's not good, right? We lose many people every single year marrying non-Jews. Do you think that it's upon all of us as from Jews right now to speak to them and say, hey, listen, the whole world puts us in one little circle, one little category. It's time that maybe you come join us and be more religious and take on Shabbos and take on mitzvahs.
Yeah, for sure. I think we should spread the pride of what it means to be Jewish and just spread awareness of people see what's going on in the world and how everyone's standing up against us, and we have to stand up together against them. Not against, but just to show who we really are.
Okay. And one message, I guess, for the world that's going to see this, what do you want to say?
I guess we have to stay strong together, and Emrit Hashem, this should only lead to the Yeshua and Gula. And yeah, Am Yisrael Chai.
Thank you so much for stopping, and I guess get back to class, yeah? Yep. Have a great day.
My name is Yakov. I'm from North Carolina. I'm from a small town called Chapel Hill. My first couple months in the city, I just graduated undergrad from Yale, and yeah, I'm just here.
Nice, undergrad from Yale. T4, you're smart. You got brains. Let me ask you a question. First of all, North Carolina, growing up as were you religious growing up in North Carolina?
Not as religious as I am now, but I would say my family always strong Jewish roots, strong Jewish identity, but not always as observant. Sort of picked that up with my twin sister growing up in high school and then a lot in college, I think. But you got to work towards your Judaism when you're in North Carolina for sure. It's not as easy as just being here and sort of, through osmosis, you get your Judaism raised.
Yeah,
everybody's a little Jewish in New York, but not everybody's a little Jewish in North Carolina. That's for sure.
100%. So I mean, tell me, it's like you're teasing me a little bit, but tell me, you mentioned that you became more religious with your sister. Give me the tea on that. What happened?
Yeah, no, I mean, I just think that as you learn more about Judaism, I think this happens to me every day, is you learn more about Judaism and you start to adopt more things and you start to believe in more things and start understanding customs and practices and how meaningful all those things are. So whether that's as simple as wearing a Magen David, or whether that's as simple as, you stop eating a certain food, or you start keeping kosher, or whatever that be, whatever it's simple, or, saying the Shema, it's always a process. And, so that process took some time, but I'm in a nice spot right now. I like where I'm at, but I'm always open to explore more,
Let me ask you, after October 7th, what took place in Israel, here you are walking through Times Square, where I guess, it's pretty hostile and post October 7th, been a lot of rallies, a lot of pro-Hamas terrorist type rallies, but you're wearing your kippah. You're walking around with it. Someone might think, hey, listen, you didn't really grow up religious. Play it safe. Don't wear it. But you're wearing it. Why are you wearing it?
That's a great question. I mean, it's certainly crossed my mind. I have had moments where I've, been wearing a hat around, certainly in maybe some of the more times that I consider a little bit more volatile. But I really do think that it's important to be proud of who you are, and because the second that, we sort of shirk away and go back into the shadows, if you think that's going to stop anti-Semitism or, calls for our murder or, the desire of others to shut us away, we all know that that's not going to stop anything, right? We have to be proud. We have to be who we are. It's also, as a community, it's important to sort of we think to ourselves, you see someone else who is Jewish, whether it's outwardly or they're Jewish. It is nice to see that person in times like this, right? In the last couple of weeks, it is nice to you crack a smile with someone who's speaking Hebrew, or you see someone with a kippah and you're like, hey, I'm Yisrael Chai, we're in this together. You're right. It's important for us to see things like that. I mean, it made me happy to see your guy over here. You know what I mean? When he approached me, I was like, this is my guy right here. I like him.
It's almost like you're a sports fan.
Oh, big.
Tar Heels.
Tar Heels.
Okay, so it's imagine going to a Duke game, right?
and you're wearing your North Carolina jersey, and then you see another North Carolina fan.
There it is.
So it's like that with the Jewish people.
Yes.
We're here in Manhattan, and the reason why we came here today to do this is because there's a lot of people, and there's people even, taking pictures right now, and because we as Jewish people need to be more open and out front and not be scared and not say, hey, listen, city is a dangerous place right now. Not going to go there. Not going to wear my yarmulke there. Now more than ever, we need to show that. We need to be strong and show our pride to the people who, let's say, are taking off their yarmulke and hiding their Judaism. What would you say to them?
Well, look, I mean, obviously, we know that if there are situations in which it necessitates it, by all means, your life and your living as a Jew in the next 60 years or whatever it be is very important, and we want to make sure you're safe. But at the same time, there not only do you get strength from being outwardly Jewish, but I'm sure there are hundreds of other people, obviously depending on where you live, who also garner strength from this. It's a caveat, so it depends on your situation, of course. But if you feel safe enough to wear it, there's no better time to be proud and Jewish than in a moment like this where it's so difficult.
I'm going to let you go after this one, but you said you're in Yale, undergrad at Yale. We've seen a lot of coming out of academia recently about, what that looks like. Does that concern you? Does it worry you? How do you approach that?
Yeah, I mean, it does. I am actually in academia myself. I'm pursuing my PhD in political science. I'm currently at NYU doing my master's. So to see it come out, especially in a department, a lot of these people are law school or political science or maybe ethics or like ethnic studies and things like that. It's definitely scary. I mean, especially seeing a lot of my peers post some truly vile content on social media and chant things that I think are just absolutely despicable. But at the same time, I do know that there are people who are going to fight for us. There are people like us. There are people who are allies who are going to fight for us within these spaces and who already have been. And I think at the end of the day, hopefully, Baruch Hashem, things work out. But at the same time, this is our chance to be proud. And even despite all the things that are happening in academia and honestly everywhere else. So yeah.
Yakov, thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
And I understand that both you served time in the IDF. Yeah. And you're in New York now. If you want to say any words to your brothers, your sisters out there fighting, what do you want to say to them?
First of all, we support from far. We're very sad that we can't be there with them right now. We try. I just came back from Israel. We try to serve, to reserve, but it doesn't work. But we support from here. We're trying to do our best, and we're doing, and I appreciate you that you support from here. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, what we're trying to do is we're trying to come to the place. The Lubavitcher Rebbe, he always said that the place is the darkest. You need to go and light a candle. So right now we're in Times Square. It's a pretty dark place. A lot of people who are anti-Israel and they chant things like "from the river to the sea," which is calling for the genocide of the Jewish people, like me and like you, right? And it's important to come to this place. Our ancestors in the 40s, they couldn't do what we're doing right now. They couldn't come and speak out in doing that. So that's why we want to be here to do this. You're walking around. You're Jewish. You're Israeli. Do you feel worried? Do you feel scared about walking around here?
Actually, you have sometimes you can't run away from this. You looking around sometimes, this is the life now. But I tell you the truth, I never feel more proud than now to go with a yarmulke in my head. I'm Jewish, we're strong, we don't afraid from no one. We're here to stay. If someone have a problem, we're here. We don't going to nowhere.
Yehuda, what do you think?
I think because we're Jewish, all the time we feel it arises from all the world. It's not something new. It's not just because Hamas or Iran or something like this. It's all the year, from the first man till now, we hate us because we're Jewish. Maybe because we're smart, maybe because something. If it's the Shoah, if it's the Inquisition, everything is start because we're Jewish. And now is part of our life. Now is Hamas. Before 70 years is the Nazis. And all the time we come, new one is hate us. And this time we win Hamas and move on. Something like 10 years, come back, another war with another one is hate Jewish. It doesn't stop. It's what God want for us, and we live with this.
We live with this, and we have to be strong. We have to be resilient. And the whole purpose of this program and coming here today is to show people, show the world. There are people walking around that's seeing this, that we're not scared and we're not going anywhere. You could try to shoot at us, you could try to scream at us, you could try to rally against us, but we're not scared. We're not hiding.
I tell you something. If somebody think he can kill some Jewish all over the world, if it's Israel, if it's the US, it doesn't matter. It's kill one, it's kill two. The Jewish is not over. We strong and we stay. A lot of people trying to kill all of us, and it doesn't happen. We have somebody. We have the God is protect us, and nobody can win us. You can kill one, you can kill two, you can kill 1,500 people, babies and children and grandmom and everything, but win us because our soul and what we think and how we think is very strong. We know we the win and we good. We know kill somebody because he's do it something or because he's feel something or because he's believe in something. We kill some people if he's kill us before. If his man is bad, he want to kill guys because he's Jewish, because he's Christian or something. It doesn't matter who is what his belief. And if we learn from all our life, if you good, you win. Maybe you die, but your opinion is win all the time.
Win all the time. I want to ask you, maybe you have friends or people who aren't religious yet. They're not keeping Shabbat, they're not keeping kosher. To me, right now is the time where we need everybody to come home. We need everybody to come and cut closer to Hashem and get closer to the Jewish people, one big family. What would you say to somebody who's like that, who's on the fence? They don't really identify so strongly as Jewish. What would you say to them?
I tell you something, and we know if you're Jewish all the time, maybe you didn't do something from the Torah or didn't know 100% with the God, but you have faith. And you can see it in the time the Shayetet is specially forces in Israel come to the Nahal Oz for know if he's Jewish or the terrorist guy. He say Shema Israel, and he say back, so he know he's Jewish. All Jewish in the world know I am Jewish and I am proud with this, and people hate me because of this, but I fine with this. Also, if I didn't believe in all the Torah and I didn't want to make the mitzvahs and everything, I know I am Jewish. And the time the Mashiach come, we know I'm fine.
What would you say?
Yeah, actually, we know that in the Holocaust, the Nazis, they don't really care if you're religious, if even your grandmother, she been a Jewish, they killed everyone. They don't care if you're religious, non-religious. Like, this is us. This is the Jewish people. Like, even if someone is not all the way like going with the Torah, in the end of the day, the Jewish is something. It's more than that. But for sure, this is what connects us. Like, in the end of the day, it's the Torah for sure.
Are you guys going to be moving back to Israel anytime soon?
One day for sure, I'll go back to Israel. Now these days, we're living here. But one day for sure, 100% like back to Israel. Yeah.
One day for sure, we're all going to be going back to Israel. Every single one of us.
Bezrat Hashem, soon, Yerushalayim.
Amen. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back to this episode of the Meaningful People podcast. Happens to be during this episode, we had a student from Touro come by and speak to us. There's, the Touro in New York City. But today I'm talking about going further with Touro. And there is an open house, an in-person open house coming up on November 12th at 12:45 p.m. So you want to go ahead, guys. You're going to hit the link in the description that's shown into this episode and RSVP. You want to go further at Lander College for Men, Beis Medrash LaTalmud. Something I've noticed is that people who go to Touro are extremely confident. They have great self-esteem, especially with their Judaism, and they're in academia, right? They're in school, they're learning, and especially what we see what's going on around the world today. Touro is the number one choice. If I had a kid going to college today, I'd be wanting them to go to Touro. I know they're safe there. I know the values that I hold are being respected there. I don't have to worry about professors or teachers spreading any hate. That is probably the most important thing when sending your kid to college right now, is making sure your kids are safe. And that's why your choice should be Touro, Lander College for Men, based Medrash LaTalmud. Make sure to RSVP for that open house. And again, it is Sunday, November 12th at 12:45 p.m. Hit the link in the show notes in the description of this episode and RSVP today. Now back to this episode.
So sitting in Times Square, you can bump into many people, and so far today I've had the opportunity to meet some very cool people walking around with their yarmulke on, showing their Jewish, proud of their Judaism. Now I'm here with Ben, who came from Germany just 10 days ago, I think, and he's going back to Germany soon. So you grew up in Germany. Could you tell us a little bit about your upbringing there?
Yeah, I grew up from the age of 0 to 18 there, and I'm living there. It's crazy life, because you have at first you have the Nazis, the Germans from the right, and then you have the Arab. And I never feel safe there or home in Germany, because I can't show my identity, who I am. And yeah, for example, I never wear kippah outside because I'm too afraid. In the only countries are Israel and New York and America, where I could wear my kippah, because it was hard. I heard a lot of antisemitism, and friends of me told me a lot of stories how they get punished, have problems because they only been Jewish. Yeah.
So obviously here in New York, you're wearing your kippah, you're wearing your yarmulke, but you're saying when you go back to Germany, it's not something that you can do. You can't wear it.
No. Of course not, because you have there's so many hate, because for them it's not normal to be Jewish, and you have we're 200,000 Jews in whole Germany, and I don't know, only some person are showing it, and you have such a small community. And now with the times of the war in Israel, so many hate, because they think Jews equal to Israel, and so many problems. No, I don't know one Jew who is not afraid to go out with a kippah outside.
So I mean, it's kind of scary, given the fact that we know that the Holocaust took place in Germany, and here we are in 2023, and you're a Jew there, a religious Jew, and you're scared to wear your kippah publicly.
Yeah. It's very crazy. For example, my synagogue was attacked last week ago. There were some Arab guys were some Molotov cocktails at the shul. Baruch Hashem, nothing big was happened. And at 8 a.m., it was 3 a.m. on Monday last week, and at 8 a.m. came some other Arab guy with Palestinian flag and want to go into the shul, but the policeman shut them down. And it's crazy, because you're not safe, and it was very crazy. I think many people saw the picture that some Magen Davids were on houses in Germany 8 years ago. Is the same, because they were they want to mark where the Jews are living, and
So, in your opinion, what do we do now? How do we fight this? How do we fight this wave of hate? Back in the day, our ancestors, they didn't really have this opportunity to sit down and have this discussion and be in the positions of power and to talk like we're talking right now. What do you think needs to be done? What can we do to combat this hate?
I think what I'm showing is I'm doing online a lot to tell everybody the truth, what's going on. And this was not Israel's fault at all, that the Palestinians go in Israel without nothing. And I think if you're showing the truth, and for example in Germany we have pro-Israel, some demonstration to show that we are there and we are not afraid. There's things you can do, of course.
Let me ask you, since October 7th, when these attacks took place, what's your Jewish identity like? Are you more likely to hide it, or are you less likely to hide it?
The thing is, before that, I lived in Berlin near to a close. It was not a problem to wear it. I wear it to the synagogue and back. But now, when it was started, I was I didn't wear it, and I have pepper spray the whole time with me, because I'm afraid. And I have some Jews who wear a cap right now because they're too afraid. And it's not normal. For example, when I was in the train, when the war starts, I was in Israel. For vacation for 2 weeks, and the war starts. I have to get back normally I would leave on Sunday, but I wear only to Monday because of the war. And it's crazy how such a war can change the whole life from Jews all over the world. And at the end, you see we're all in one boat. And yeah.
What's your message to the Jewish people all over the world that are watching this right now, whether they're in Germany, New York, they could be in Miami, wherever it is. What's your message to the Jewish people?
Like, hold together, be one. Don't forget that we are all, they hate us because we're Jewish, because, yeah, it's not make sense where you're living. In Israel, some other countries, we're all the same. I think we need to hold together, like, yeah, care about each other, and because at the end, we're the only ones who have each other.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Safe travels.
Thank you, man.
Hi, I'm Malky Blisco. I'm from Miami.
Hi, I'm Ayala Tarabello. I'm from Brooklyn.
Okay, so here we are. We meet in Times Square. Yes. You guys feel comfortable here right now? You feel safe?
No. No. This is the first time taking the train. I take the train every morning, but to the city, and I was like petrified, like to wear my skirt and I live in Brooklyn my whole life. I take the train every day, but today was scary.
I feel like it's very conflicting emotions now because on one end you don't feel safe kind of in areas like this. I feel like now you kind of see how much the people who love us really love us, and then the people who don't unfortunately really don't. And I feel like in a way I have this insane sense of pride of being Jewish right now, but I'm saying there is more of a just concern and I guess caution that I feel like I have to take as opposed to before when I didn't, now that everything's happening. But there's also I don't know, anytime I see a Jew nowadays, I just also feel oh, that's my brother, 100%. I feel so much more comfortable, but also unfortunately the world around us is a lot more scary, so conflicting.
Yeah, it's interesting because I heard that I just had someone on from North Carolina, and he had said that when he sees a Jew, he gets so excited. Yeah. He's like, oh, that's my family, and maybe that didn't exist so much before October 7th, but I think we can sit here, we can agree that the world post October 7th, 2023 is a different world than pre, and it may never go back to what it was before. And I think there's an opportunity, a special opportunity for all Jews, religious, not religious, but there's a special opportunity for us to be doing something. What is that thing for you?
Well, that's a good question. I think overall just being able to look at a Jew as a Jew and take away all externals and just realize we're all Jewish. Hashem loves all of us and we should just love each other. That's what Hashem wants. Hashem created each and every single Jew, and you can learn from each and every single Jewish person. And I think it's kind of just being able to look at any Jewish person and think, oh, what are they doing? What's something I can learn from them? And how can I love them better? How can I be a better brother to them? And kind of just taking action with that. It's not just about thinking it. It's about smiling to people on the street. It's about I went over to those girls before. I was like, come on, you got to come with us. I think it's just about taking action and really putting your feelings into your actions of we all want to be Am Echad, we all want to be united, and we really have to do something about it. Anything, I don't know, just we're all Jews, we should all love each other. Yeah.
Ayala, what do you think that thing is?
I think also just all of this is bringing all of us together, and the point is that you were saying just to appreciate everyone. It doesn't matter, everyone's Jewish. It doesn't matter what you look like, whether you wear a yarmulke or whether you wear tzitzit, anything. Everyone's cooking for everyone. Everyone's billions of dollars, money here, there. It's just coming from everywhere, and just people are giving themselves over and to any type of Jew. It doesn't matter who you are. So at the end of the day, we're all Am Echad, and we're all together and we're all one, and we all love each other. And I don't know, it's just so beautiful to see. I guess I've never every time I see a Jew, I'm okay, Jew spotted. I feel comfortable. Yeah, that's my brother. Yeah, that's my sister. You just feel together. And I think just again bringing I think this really brought people together. And I know let's say I don't know, certain things helping out with the community. I wouldn't have done that before. And everyone's just pushing each other to help. And it's just amazing.
Oh, can I add one more thing? I think it's also being able to help with what your strengths are. So there's people going out and they're actively fighting and they're doing their hishtadlus, and that's amazing. And then there's also people who are sitting and learning for protection, and there's people who are giving money. Each person has what to do with their strengths, with their abilities. And I think it's just acting upon that as saying, oh, how am I able to help with how is Malki able to do like anything to help? And like looking at that, like, oh, I can say extra to Tehillim, I can do this, I can do that. Each person has a role to play in this war, and we all need to be actively doing something to help and participate, and that comes in many different formats. So yeah.
In one word, it's always hard answering questions like this, but in one word, how do you feel today being Jewish?
Proud.
United.
Amazing. Thank you guys so much. Back here, Times Square, haven't moved, speaking to so many amazing people. You right here, you said Haley, right? You are in Hunter College. Hunter College, we know, has had some situation go on over the last couple days and weeks. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Sometimes, like throughout the weeks, there are protests right in front of Hunter, like pro-Palestinian protests that turn kind of anti-Semitic with posters that say that like reference Hitler, and sometimes also writings in the hallways or in the stairwells, one that said Jews with a X over it, just things like that are just hurtful and harmful.
Is the school dealing with this in a proper way? Are they speaking to the Jewish students, protecting the Jewish students?
The Hillel has been really helpful. The Hillel's been great. The like head of Hillel came to visit us. The school itself has sent some emails, but other than that, I think that maybe some people have met with the president, but I don't know.
That's really disappointing to hear, because you'd think that in 2023, when we're so hypersensitive to everyone's culture, that if someone were to reference Hitler and Nazis, the people who have killed 6 million Jews, that would be dealt with urgency. So I'm sorry that you're going through what you're going through in school, and that it doesn't sound like it's being dealt with, the right way. But here you are, you're walking in Manhattan, you look like a frum Jew, and is that something that when you wake up in the morning, you made a conscious decision, like, I'm not gonna hide that? Is that a challenge for you? What goes through your mind?
We actually were just having this conversation that though it's really scary, honestly, like we're obviously not going to hide our Judaism at this time. It's important to not do that and to be proud, but to also obviously be safe. And thank God, the city is relatively safe, not like other places. Like we were just talking about a friend who's at Cornell. Like that's a lot scarier than what we're dealing with here. So thank God, we're still going to be proudly Jewish and appear Jewish. Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, I was in Israel when everything started. I was in Shonfeld at Haruba, and leaving Israel was a very hard thing to do. In one sense, like it feels safer here, but also not. Like being Jewish in America is very scary right now, which is like a really sad and crazy thing to say. Thank God, like I feel comfortable dressing the way I dress and acting the way I do, and I don't not do that because of what's happening in the country, but it's very upsetting, and yeah.
So what would you guys say to maybe people in the world who are taking off their yarmulke and they're trying to hide their Judaism, and they're scared, and rightfully so, they're scared. My personal opinion is, like, if there's ever a time to be openly Jewish and show it, it's now. What would you say to that person right now?
I would say that I obviously understand them and that their fear is valid, but yeah, I would agree with you and encourage them to still be proud of their heritage and their Judaism. And also, I guess, try to find places where you will be accepted and leave the places where you won't be.
Yeah, and I also think that, like, if we stop doing what they want us to stop doing, then we're giving in. And that's not what we want. That's not what it's not what Am Yisrael is about. And I think that, like, even though it's scary, I really believe that, like, Hashem's on our side and Hashem is protecting us through all of this. I mean, miraculous things are happening every day. And I just think that we have to continue doing the things that we're doing, and men have to continue wearing kippot and tzitzis, because, like, that's how Hashem's going to stay with us.
And just to flip the question, for someone who's watching this that isn't so affiliated, they're not so from, and they've never been. But October 7th, it made them feel a little bit more part of their heritage. What's the thing that you would tell them to maybe push them over that hump and get them to say, hey, listen, we're all family. Come join us. Come keep Shabbos. Come keep kosher. What would you say to them?
Yeah, I would really encourage them to tap into the feelings that they're feeling. The most important thing right now is to be unified and is to love one another. And I would just really encourage them to tap into those feelings, that it's right that they're feeling that way, and they should, really, I would encourage them to join their community and join their heritage. And we want them and we love them.
And to fellow students on different campuses, whether it's Cornell or Cooper Union, UCLA, all over the world, as college students, like what message would you want to say to those students out there?
I would say to stay strong. It's really hard and it's really scary. Like I really feel them, and I have friends again who are on campuses worse than mine, and it's really hard and it's really scary, and really just continue doing what you're doing. Stand up in any way you can, but also stay safe. And again, tap into those communities and places that feel safe for you.
Yeah, and I think also that the whole world is just watching, and especially on these college campuses, like the fact that you're able to stay there and continue to be safe and do what we all believe in is really important and just like very noteworthy and something that I look up to, and I think a lot of people look up to.
In one word, and I'll end with this. If you gave me one word, how does it feel to be Jewish right now?
Right now is probably like the proudest I've ever been to be Jewish.
That's like 7 words.
It feels prideful, I guess is.
Okay, that's good.
I have so many. Meaningful, I think. Yeah, meaningful.
I like that word. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Have an amazing rest of your day.
Hold up one second. Before we get to that next interview in Manhattan, wanted to tell you about our new friends at Ask Tomer. So Ask Tomer has made the process of purchasing an apartment in Israel incredibly easy and straightforward. He has successfully created a bridge connecting the United States and Israel. With his excellent service, Ask Tomer is efficient, energetic, and always ready to assist in finding and securing the perfect place for you. So Ask Tomer is selling apartments in Israel. And I want to tell you that now is a really good time with the way the conversion rates are. And in general, Mashiach is like literally going to come very soon. You want to make sure you got a place in Eretz Israel to go to. Ask Tomer goes above and beyond by providing a comprehensive service. He offers valuable advice on Israeli laws and regulations and works alongside attorneys, mortgage banks, and other professionals to ensure a smooth process. With his expertise, he can get you approved within just a few days. So right now, if you're thinking, you know what? It's time. It is time. Let's go to Israel. Let's get out of here. So you're going to go to asktomer.com right now and get that process started. Or you could call him or WhatsApp him at 845-826-0484. That is 845-826-0484. If you're not sure what the pricing looks like, if you're not sure what that process looks like, it doesn't hurt to ask. And who are you asking? You are asking Tomer. That is asktomer.com.
Okay, Isaac, you work at Morgan Stanley, right? You work in the city. You're here every day. You're walking back and forth. I want to ask you, since October 7th, the attacks that took place in Israel, have you seen any more hostility, or has the mood changed here in New York?
I would say it definitely has changed significantly, just given the fact that now it's a little scarier to walk around this Times Square area, given the protests that have happened, and just the fact of people have different connotations towards Israel, so you never know how somebody might treat you just by wearing a yarmulke on the street. And so, as rabbis have told me, they say it's better to wear a hat, or now's not the time to be proud. But it's a little saddening that that's the advice that I have to get in such a time period.
Right. So you're telling me like you're fearful right now here in New York, wearing your yarmulke, walking the street.
Yeah, I would say it definitely is a struggle to have that strength, and
it's so scary because I have a grandmother who survived the Holocaust, and if she passed away not too long ago, but if I were to tell her that yeah, you can't go to Manhattan really where you're not gonna feel safe. That's like the saddest, scariest thing to hear, because the people who survive the atrocities, the people who survived what Hitler tried doing, like they survived so we can live life as from Jews and openly from Jews. It's really sad.
Yeah, I think it definitely is. I mean, the fact of the day of jihad, where I was contemplating coming into work because I was like, at one point they're saying, oh, it's not going to be anything big. But then at the other point, you have this significant fear that it might be bad. And so that was something that I really had to take into consideration. And I mean, coming into work, that shouldn't be a sort of struggle for somebody or sort of a decision to make just because they might be attacked or have some sort of hate thrown at them just by walking on the street, not even saying anything, not even provoking anything. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just that fear of something coming along, rather than even instigating. So it's not like the instigation's there. It's more on the receiving end.
What would you say to people who let's say find this video on social media and they're anti-Israel, they're anti-Jewish, they're anti-Semitic, they have these beliefs that the Jews are the problem? What would you say to that person?
I would say take the time to delve a little deeper into don't look at the surface level of everything. It's very easy to be inundated with all the info coming from both sides and stuff, but take the time to do your own research, speak to people that are actually on the front line, see the actual footage that's coming from reputable sources and stuff. And you should truly take it into consideration to know that there's people on the other end, that it's not just like, I'm Jewish, doesn't mean I'm Israeli. It's I'm Jewish, and that's something that maybe I should rephrase this a little better, but
no, it's a thing that people struggle with, right? Because people say this all the time. Anti-Zionism is not anti-Semitism, right? Yeah. But like Jews, Israel, like we are one. Yeah. We're one people. So that's how I think we always need to think about it. Like, the problem is the world. The lines aren't blurred. I mean, the lines are very blurred. It's anti-Semitism is anti-Zionism. Anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. They hate us, right? And that's why we're here today, here in Times Square, doing this. Last place I wanted to be, and I'm myself a little nervous being here, but I think it's super important for us to be able to be here and be proud to be Jewish and show that we're not going anywhere. And you can chant against us, and you can try to, like that's what terrorists want to do. They want to make us scared. That's what terror is. But we can't let that happen. We need to be here, and we need to stand strong.
Yeah. And I just want to add one thing: the fact that, like, I went to public school growing up, and so seeing some people post this kind of stuff, me being a Gen Z person, and that's the biggest anti-Israel group as far as social demographics, I feel the responsibility to say what you're saying is affecting me and my life in a day-to-day basis, and just trying to foster that communication, because obviously I don't think that somebody's trying to say, oh, you should die and stuff to me specifically, but in effect, that's what it's leading up to, that kind of decision. So my advice again would be to just really try to take that time to communicate with these people that might be posting some wrong info, and just educate them on your experiences as what being a Jew in New York or wherever you're at, especially in New York. So that's something that's definitely needed right now during this time.
I know you got to get back to work, so one more question for you. How do you feel about being Jewish right now?
It's a very good question, because I feel that being Jewish during this kind of time, you get the immense chizuk and strength when it comes to just seeing how Hashem performs in miraculous ways throughout all the different stories, just through your page and stuff, and all the different social media pages, and hearing the testimonies of of soldiers and stuff, you're like, how could this possibly happen? How could this, like, everything's set to be a failure, but somehow we're prevailing. And so that's the thing that keeps me going, is that I know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and so, like, you're always supposed to work on the bitachon and stuff. And so you're supposed to work on it in the good times. So that's why in times like this, when it's tough, you really help and strengthen it to the significant level that it's needed to help keep you going through the day in, day out. So,
Isaac, thank you so much. So Felix, your name is Felix. Can you tell, I guess, the people watching a little bit about you, where you're from?
My name's Felix. My Jewish name is Asher. I'm originally from Ukraine, lived over 30 years in Ukraine, then left for an expat journey. Now I live in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam. So being a Ukrainian Jew these days is quite a hectic thing. You know, both wars when both nations suffer, but both nations are going to win, definitely.
So a lot of confidence, and we know it. Listen, it's in the Torah. We know that we're going to win.
Yeah.
We're going to win without a doubt, God willing. I want to ask you, I guess walking around in Manhattan today in the city, how does it feel? How do you feel being Jewish?
Well, I'm proud being Jewish. I've always been, even I was born back in the Soviet times when it was not really supported, and there was a high level of antisemitism, but in my family it was always well known and discussed that we are Jewish, and even though we were quite secular Jews, because we couldn't really observe in the Soviet times, but still we knew that we are Jewish, we were proud. And in the beginning of 90s, when Judaism started coming back to Ukraine, and you could learn more, you could study more traditions, more customs, and we started also to follow some of those. So I'm not really religious, but I consider myself a flexidox, how it's said now. So we celebrate at home with family, with kids. We celebrate Shabbat, we celebrate all big holidays, and yeah, we are all Jews, and that's good.
Do you feel at all, ever since what happened in Israel on October 7th, do you feel... I'll tell you how I feel, and you can tell me what you think, okay? I feel that now more than ever is a time where all Jews should say to themselves and recognize, I'm a Jew, and I need to identify as a Jew, and maybe even take on a little by little, become more religious and more religious, just because those are my people, and that's my team. Do you share that sentiment at all?
Absolutely. I think that should have been the biggest outcome of the Holocaust. That even if you try to assimilate, even if you pretend to be like others, still they will find out, even if you have a grandma, grandpa Jews, and you will be all counted as Jews and prosecuted, if I may use this word in English. That's why we should stick together. We should understand that we are given the exclusiveness of being Jewish, and but the chosen nation doesn't mean we are better. That means that we have more obligations to the world to be as an example how to make things. And if we look at the civilization history, whatever is now called civilized Western values and so on, that all comes from Torah.
Can I put you on the spot? Can I challenge you?
Yeah, of course.
What is Usher? What is Felix? What are you doing? What are you going to do after this happened, October 7th? What are you going to do to get closer to God?
I'm on a journey, let's call it this way, and it's like a pendulum. In my life, I was, at some point I was more religious, and some point I was less religious, so I needed to find the comfortable spot where I feel comfortable with my relationship to God. But definitely He's there, He watches us, so we have to comply.
So day by day, you're going to get closer and closer.
Yes, definitely. He's always in the heart. And, I have ring, Shema Israel, so he's always with us.
Okay, amazing. I really appreciate you, and I appreciate you coming over and being able to sit here and openly identifying yourself as I'm Jewish. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Felix.
Thank you. I'm Israel. Hi.
We'll be right back to this episode of the Meaningful People podcast. A quick message from our friends at Collars & Co. The shirt I am wearing right now, temperatures are dipping. I'm a big sweater guy. But although I'm a big sweater guy, I don't always want to have that just like hoodie sweater look with no shirt. So right now I'm wearing this Collars & Co. short sleeve polo, the dress polo, but you would never guess it's a short sleeve shirt. Like, look at this. Like, you don't know. You don't know that there's only a few buttons. You don't know that the shirt feels like literally a smooth, stretchy t-shirt. Well, that's what you get at collarsandco.com. Their shirts are incredible. And I'm going to get you a code right now for 15% off your order. That is meaningful. You put in promo code meaningful at checkout for 15% off today. Make sure you order their shirts, especially for the winter time. I love these. I wear it, happens to be every Shabbos. I have the long sleeve one as well with the all full button. But the dress polo for this season is amazing. It is the best shirt on the market. So you want to go ahead and head to collarsandco.com. Get your hands on that dress polo. Make sure to use promo code meaningful for 15% off. Now back to this episode.
Richie Shonfeld, good friend of mine, back here. People, you know him from many different places. Most recently, of course, the tefillin stuff, getting so many people putting on tefillin. It's so nice to see a familiar face here in Manhattan. We're speaking to a lot of different people from backgrounds about their Judaism, about how they identify as Jewish, and where that ranks in their life. There are people, however, that are scared. They're scared to walk out the yarmulke. Maybe they're religious, maybe they're even not so religious, but they're scared for the people to know that they're Jewish. If you could just speak to that, what are your thoughts?
Well, it's a very valid concern nowadays. There's a lot of people who are scared to outwardly project that they're Jewish, and that's very sad to me. I always say that before anything, I'm Jewish. I identify not as a nationality. Obviously, we live in United States and we're proud to be here, but I'm proud to be Jewish, and that's how I conduct my life. I live my life around Yiddishkeit and around the mitzvahs and about being a Torah observant Jew. That's how I live my life. So to me, it's a little sad that I have to be a little concerned and nervous to wear a yarmulke.
Yeah, and it's sad that you have to feel that way. And to me, it's even sadder that there are people who I know, and I'm sure that you know, that are not wearing the yarmulke. And I don't want to say understandably, like I get it that they're scared, and everyone falls in a different place on that spectrum of how scared they are. But if, do you have any grandparents or great-grandparents who survived the Holocaust? So if you were to tell them today that people are scared to walk in Manhattan and look Jewish, or kids in Far Rockaway are being heckled at from cars passing by, or that Brooklyn on Shabbos had 50,000 people protesting against Israel, what would their reaction be?
Yeah, it's depressing. It's upsetting. It's upsetting. We've worked, our families and our grandparents worked their whole lives and built their whole lives to rebuild, and to have to go ahead and to have to be concerned and be nervous to outwardly show that you're a Jew is very concerning. It's very upsetting.
So what do you think the proper response is from us, the people watching, from Jews or Jews around the world? What's the appropriate response to this, to what's going on in the world?
We have to ani mamin. We have to believe bi'amuna shalema. We have to have our full sense of belief that we are correct, and we have to continue to be strong and stay vigilant. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't have to pay attention to your surroundings and you don't have to be aware of what's going on, because you should, and everybody should. But at the end of the day, we're Jews, and we should be proud of that. And that's my belief. I'm walking around with my yarmulke. I'm not wearing a baseball cap to cover it up. I'm staying true.
Yeah, 100%. And what you said that we should really be proud. I think we need to. I think we need to. I think that again, it's 2023 and what's going on is extremely scary, and we can't believe that this is happening, and we have to make sure it stops here, that it doesn't get further than this, that we're gonna be here and we're gonna have a voice. And our ancestors, our grandparents didn't have that opportunity. They didn't have that. They couldn't do it. If you can, I guess, let's say on social media somehow people are gonna hop on this video and see you speaking, and they garner some hatred towards Jews, and they feel like the Jewish people are wrong and they're the problem. What would you say to that person?
I would say to that person that we were not the people who started this situation. We didn't attack women, rape women, behead babies. That's not what we do. And that's not the way that Jewish people carry themselves. That's not what we do. So what are we doing? We're retaliating. We're looking at where Hamas is firing their rockets from, and we're trying to take out those buildings. And imagine for 1 second, all the propaganda and all of the social media, and all the people demonstrating, what are they saying? They're saying that the Jews are committing genocide by targeting innocent people, right? Imagine if Chas v'Shalom, the Iron Dome, didn't exist. How many thousands of rockets are being shot every single day at Israel? Imagine that. And if any of those were to actually be landing, what would they be doing? But instead, Baruch Hashem, the Iron Dome is there, wiping out 99.9% of every rocket fired at Israel. So I would say that we are not the ones that are looking to kill people. We're looking to keep our identity. We're looking to keep our nation. We're looking to keep our land without the threat of being killed by other people. So that's where I stand.
Let me hear your thoughts on this. There's a statement, agree, disagree, you can elaborate. The world will never, ever be the same for Jews as it was before October 7th, 2023.
1,000,000%. The world will never be the same. That's like, in my book, what happened with the Holocaust. The world has not been the same since the Holocaust. The world has not been the same since, in comparison in the United States, 9/11. The world is not the same. Something changed. Something changed in a terrible, terrible, terrible way. And the world will never be the same. The Jewish nation will never be the same.
And what could we do from Jews, let's say, watching, who are just unsure, like there's this war going on and we're trying to go up on our daily life. What do you think is something that we all could be doing? Because I had an interview with Moshe and he said, we're all in this war. We're all fighting this war. What's something that you think that everyone could be doing to be part of this?
Listen, I'll tell you one thing that I took upon myself. I tried to be more vigilant with my davening and with my tefillah, and I tried to take a Kabbalah on myself, something that is not such an easy thing, but it feels to me like I'm doing something to help. Like I took upon myself not to talk during davening. Might be a small thing, but for me, it's something that I'm changing in my daily routine, and I'm doing it the way a Yid carries himself. The way a Yid carries himself is we daven to Hashem. We're strengthening our emunah, strengthening ourselves in what we hold as how we live our lives, and that's as a Yid. So I'm taking upon myself different Kabbalahs. I'm looking to try to give more tzedakah. I'm trying to do more gemilas chasadim. Look at the one thing that's been happening. Look at the amount of chesed that is going on. It's out of this world. It's unimaginable, the amount of chesed and tzedakah that's happening, all based around Yiddishkeit right now. So that's how we should be presenting ourselves, as the people who do good. I think that's the way to combat evil, to be the ones who do good. That should be our message.
And just to end it off, I'm going to start a sentence and I want you to finish it. A Jew is
A Jew is someone that should be able to present themselves as a nation. A Jew is somebody who should be proud to be a Jew and should never be scared and never be afraid to show that he's a Jew or he or she is a Jew.
Amazing. Rami, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. So what's your name, my man?
Yakov Cruz.
Oh, people recognize that name, don't they?
Kanaan, yeah, I guess so. I guess it's, I think they recognize the hat more than the name.
It's good to have you. I appreciate you stopping by here in Times Square. As someone who spent a lot of time in Alaska, Coast Guard, seeing the hate that's, being given to the Jewish people nowadays, and you chose your Judaism, like you leaned into it. What does that make you feel?
I think this right now, everything that's going on is really a nisayon for the olam, meaning like it's a test for the whole world, for the whole Jewish world, because you see all these people in Israel that have never been close to Hashem now are doing the bracha on challah, and they're taking on tefillin, they're taking on tzitzis. So, my test when I was religious in the Coast Guard was Alaska, like being so disconnected and dealing with a lack of Judaism in my life, and obviously some anti-Semitism in the military. But now that I'm out of there and I'm in like a Jewish community, right, and I'm focused on building a Jewish life, to watch the hate that has come upon the Jewish people, that was, by the way, was always there. It's not like this is a surprise. It's not like it was hidden. But to watch people have to face that for themselves, and this is their test, seeing like am I really connected to Judaism as much as I should be? And if I am Jewish, do I accept the hate that comes upon me? And so I think that watching everything that's going on, it's horrible to see, but I think it's beautiful to see how many people are coming, the Octus that we're seeing, and the people that are coming closer to Hashem. So I'm glad that I got through my test in Alaska, but now it's about supporting those who are going through their own nisayon and dealing with their own things and supporting them the best we can.
Finish this sentence for me. A Jew is
part of a whole, meaning we're one Jew. You're not just an individual Jew. You're part of the olam. You're part of the whole world. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, whether you're in Belgium or Poland or New Zealand or Africa, you see another Jew, you instantly make that connection. And I think this struggle for the last 3 weeks, this war, has shown just how unified we are. And I think it reminds Jews all around the world that you're one of a whole. You're not just an individual.
And let's say a version of that for someone who doesn't really know Jews all that well. They're stumbling upon this video on social media. For them to know, what is a Jew?
What is a Jew? A Jew is one heck of a blessed person because they were chosen, whether they decided to be religious or not. They were given the opportunity and the blessing of being part of this worldwide network of people who care so much about each other. Coming from somebody who didn't grow up religious, to me, being Jewish meant lighting Hanukkah candles once a year, right? And as I started to grow and learn more about my Judaism, I realized it's just about being part of a worldwide family. So that's kind of what I would say to anybody who's not super connected right now, but give it some time and start to see how much people care about you, even strangers. Go to any airport right now, Newark or JFK or LAX, and see the stands and the tables and the free snacks and the bands and the singers that are all cheering on the Chayalim and the people going back over to Israel.
To our fellow Jews out there that are a little bit, scared and maybe taking the yarmulke and putting it in their pocket, scared to identify as a Jew, what would you tell them?
Scared for, it depends on if they're scared for their personal safety or scared because of what they think people will think of them. If it's for your personal safety, I can understand that. There are world leaders and state leaders and U.S. government leaders that have been very clearly opposed to Judaism, been very clearly in favor of hate against Jews, and done nothing to protect the Jews. If you're scared about what people think about you, we got to move past that, man. Clearly, at the end of the day, the world, like the Gemara says that Esav hates Yakov, that every non-Jew in the world, whether they show it now or not, has the inherent tendency to hate Jews at one point or another. So as long as you realize that, that's gonna be the way the rest of the way that the world works until Mashiach comes. So don't be afraid about what people think about you, because you haven't even seen the wolf pack at your back, because you should care about what the people who take care of you think about you. And that is, they want to see you wear that yarmulke. They want to see you do Shabbos candles. And by the way, it's not like let's turn everybody religious right now and you got to be religious right now. It's if as long as you realize you're a Jew and you're accepting of that, like the community that you're seeing will take care of the rest. You know what I'm saying?
Yakov Cruz, really appreciate you coming by and sharing with us some wisdom.
Yeah, and I, thank you for all that you guys do. I think that, the videos that you send out and the information that you put out there, it gives people the ability to watch something that is Jewish and in nature and shows the beauty of Judaism without forcing it down their throat. You know what I'm saying? So I think Meaningful People, there's a lot of good work. And my wife and I are definitely huge fans of you guys. And she continue to only bring chizuk, to bring strength and unity to the Jews out there that are both connected and not connected. And to anybody who's not connected, you want a Shabbos table, look me up, Yakov Cruz, and we'll be happy to have you. And, our Chayalim should be protected. Hashem should protect all the Yidden around the world. And we should win this war swiftly and our enemies should be destroyed.
Amen, amen. Thank you so much. The question we've been asking people on the street of New York today is, how does it feel right now to be Jewish?
It's the greatest feeling on earth. You're created by God, and you're brought down in this world. And you're Jewish, you're part of a Jewish community, you're part of the people. It's the greatest feeling. There's no greater feeling in the world.
Do you have at all any fear? I know you're walking through Manhattan right now, the yarmulke. Any fear at all?
It's the greatest pleasure to be walking around Times Square wearing a yarmulke. There's no greater pleasure. We should spread that. That's like our job. We got to get more people doing it.
100%. We should wear yarmulkes. We should wear it proud. And
Be proud. Yeah, definitely be proud.
Amazing. Thank you. I appreciate that.
So I really hope all of you were able to gain from this episode. As you might be able to hear, I have a little bit of a cold from sitting out there in the city for so long. It was just so special to speak to so many people who came up to us and came up to myself and to speak about what it means to be a Jew. Were there some, intense moments of hate? Yeah, but overwhelmingly positive. It was really, really beautiful. Now is a time that we need to stand together as a people, wear that yarmulke proudly, identify Jewish. Maybe you're not religious yet, but you're a Jew. Maybe you'll become religious. Just you are a Jew, and that's the most important thing. The whole world puts us in the same pot, and we need to put ourselves in that same pot as well. So thank you so much for listening. Make sure to flood those comments for what you are proud about being a Jew today. What do you feel about being a Jew today? I would love to see your responses, and I'd love to interact with you. Of course, any feedback you have, you can message us on Instagram at Meaningful Minute or Meaningful People Podcast, or email me directly at nachi@meaningfulminute.org. Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode, and I hope to see you all soon. Bye-bye.